What's going on, FTA fam? Today, I have I'm actually very, very excited to bring you guys Jeff Miller. I've been
Hi.
following with this guy for quite some time now, and I love what he's doing and contributing a ton to the agency space and helping a ton of people. So, Jeff, thank you for being with us today, man.
Yeah, man, I'm super psyched. I'm trying to figure out like how my chair works. Like I'm trying to like get it up so you can see like the butt logo, but it's not like working out, right? And like I've got like a slight sniffle and I'm like a little bit hungover. Today's like the worst day, but whatever, man. Let's make this happen. I'm super psyched. I don't know what we're gonna be talking about, but let's do it, right?
Oh, you're gonna love. I mean, this is your bread and butter, man. Like you probably can say this stuff in your sleep.
It kind of is, yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. So, as we're waiting for people to come in, Jeff, can you give us a little bit of a background story on how did you get involved into digital marketing? What attracted you to this space? And like overall, like like what's your story?
Yeah, so I graduated with a degree in finance right when like the financial crisis was hitting. Like I got job offers that were like rescinded, and like I could see on TV like the stock market dropping, and like factories were shutting down, and like everything was horrible, and like Lehman Brothers went under, and Bear Stearns went under, and my degree was literally involving the thing that they were going to make illegal, like collateralized mortgage obligations, CMOs, CDOs, like all those like cool like stock trading movies that was supposed to be my life. And then I graduated, and like our commencement speaker was like a vice president from Bear Stearns, who went bankrupt the day before his speech. And I was like, fuck, right? Like that is like the worst feeling in the world. And so I was trying to find how like I'm supposed to make money and my fit in the universe and things like that. And I end up like trying to build websites like through WordPress and stuff like that. And I get a couple clients. So like I make just barely enough for like a year, right? Just like I'm talking like 2, 3K a month. I'm still living with my parents, which kind of sucks, but I'm not starving, right? Not really living the life that I want, things like that. And I end up doing the GMAT and getting into MBA school at Washington St. Louis, and then I was a summer scholar at University of Chicago, and I realized how dumb I really was. Like I was literally sitting in the room with like people that like got like a 99th percentile on these scores and these tests, and worked with like management consulting companies like McKinsey and Boston Consulting, things like that, like really, really smart people. And I was just sitting in the room, just happy to be there, hoping nobody knew how dumb I was, right? And then I I finished the first part of my MBA program, and I end up getting an internship at Intel. And at Intel, I was part of the sales and marketing tech team, like the people that were being trained on like lead generation and like turning like a customer opportunity into an actual customer and like nurturing like that whole chain of things, right? Except I was working with like super duper advanced stuff, like $1 billion like software, like people that were writing like $1 million week checks just to happy to have the software. And I was being trained on how to use the software and train other people in the company to do it. So that was like pretty cool, right? It was just like a 3-month internship. I ended up staying for 18 months. I'm literally like on the plane, like the CFO, like reading like the Harvard Business Review case studies that I just printed out the day before, trying to like fit my way in. Go back to finish my MBA, and then get poached to go work for a company called Ericsson in Dallas, Texas. And at this point, I'm like, I'm on top of the world. Like it's fucking private jets. And like I'm working for the COO of like $1 billion companies. I know what I'm doing. And then I get laid off along with 2,000 other people. And I get fired from the only real job I ever had. And in fact, I got fired 3 times from the only real job I ever had. Like I literally got fired and then got fired again, and got fired again. And like what would happen is like they would fire me. And they go, oh, we didn't mean to fire you, Jeff, and like bring it back. And so like as I was like walking out with like 500 people at a time, some lady from HR like come over and then like switch my paperwork. And by the 3rd time, the company that I worked for laid off like 2,000 people. Like everything was horrible. Like 401k is gone, health insurance gone, mortgages like were going unpaid. It was like the worst experience ever. And it was just like when I graduated, right? Except I was living it. I wasn't watching on TV. I was actually living it. And I come back, and at the ripe old age of 30, I'm now living in the same spare bedroom that I originally lived in. No job, no girlfriend, no apartment, no car, like nothing, right? And I'm trying to figure out like, what's my next step? What am I going to do? And I start calling back the old people I built websites for. And I was like, great, Jeff's calling again. Did you want another website? And what happened is by this point, I had talked to like maybe like 5 or 10 friends, and some of them were like, sure, build a website. Like they felt sorry for me. But one of them was like, Jeff, I don't want a fucking website. I've never made money with my website. I don't see values in a website. Can't you do what you did for like those other big companies? Do it for me instead. And I was like, okay, sure. It's really complicated. And he's like, just make it simple. And I was like, okay. So I like pulled up a piece of paper, like a little napkin thing, and I drew out the 7 steps that I learned at like Intel, Ericsson, Washington State, University of Chicago. And I realized really fucking quickly that people would pay me money to do this type of stuff, even if I didn't have previous experience, even if I didn't have results. As long as I like understood the program and communicated correctly, people would say yes. Like they would pay me, like I would skip a free trial, it would pay me money. And ever since then, like I bought Dan Henry's course. That was like my like awe-inspiring moment that I could do Facebook ads. Since then, I now have 4 bike shops. I've got like 5 car washes, 2 chiropractors, a couple dentists. I'm now like, I just signed on a massage spa, and they're like a franchise location. They got 3 locations. We're doing a test run, and like I printed it out, and I was like, let me do business with you. And she's like, okay, and wrote me a check for $2,900. Meanwhile, she's paying her other Facebook person like $200 a month. And it's all because of like the 7 steps, that pitch and everything like that. And that's just like the basics of it. Like there's more, you know what I mean? But the big whole hairy audacious goal is like, you don't need free trials. You don't need case studies. You don't need previous experience. Like people will pay you based upon how you sell and how you understand like how programs work. And they'll pay you to run a program, even if the fucking thing bombs. You know, as long as you have like strong backend, you can prove that it worked, that their front desk wasn't picking up the phone, that people were ready to buy, but they messed up. And then they stay around 2-3 times longer than everybody else. And that's like a long-winded answer to your question, I guess. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was great, man. It's cool that you have a finance background. I actually have a Series 3 and a Series 34.
There you go.
I was in the same space. The thing for me was I was staring at, I was doing a lot of technical analysis, and I couldn't stare at the computer any time longer. I just needed to have that personal vibe. So that's cool that we're both from the financial space. Now you mentioned that you're currently working with a variety of niches, and you're able to position your service to be like, what did you say, $2,900 for the massage place?
Correct. Yeah. Like I'm signing people at $2,900. I don't ever say it's less than that. If people aren't buying, it's never because of a price thing, or mostly because of not because of a price thing. It's like there's like 5 or 6 other reasons why somebody doesn't buy from you. It's almost never because of price. And what happens is I'll have like somebody who wants to like get an account in like Virginia's like, Jeff, I just pitched at like $1,000 a month, and the guy said no, I don't know what to do. I was like, send me the recording of your pitch. And then they send me the recorded pitch, and like they sucked. Like the whole time they're just absolutely horrible. Like they're begging for business. They're not explaining a program. Like, Lamborghini salesperson is like, let me please sell you a Lamborghini. It's more like, can I show you how a Lamborghini works, right? And so like I'm signing people consistently at $2,900 a month. My Facebook ads, by the way, like if there was a ranking of like great Facebook ads people, I'm all the way at the bottom. Like my ads are literally like the worst cost per lead. Like it's absolutely horrible. My clients don't care, because Facebook ads is one of the 7 steps of a high performing campaign. It's like, again, a car analogy, like I don't care if you've got great tires, you don't have a transmission, you don't have engine, you don't have like body work, you don't have color. And all I want to do is get to Disney World, right? So you have to have the other parts, and Facebook ads is just one of those 7 steps. And so because I understand that, I'm not saying like, hey, I'm your Facebook ads guy. I'm saying I'm your chief marketing officer outsourced. And now they're willing to pay a lot more money, more consistently, time and time again. And then my clients don't respond to everybody else's cold emails. So it's like, it works out pretty well. But yeah, so $2,900 a month.
Perfect. And, Jeff, you mentioned something that I think it's very interesting, is that people don't buy from you, usually not because of price, but Correct. Because of a variety of different reasons. Would you mind explaining that, going a little bit further on what the reasons are and why they're there?
So let's say that you go up to a client or customer and you're like, hey, Mr. Client, hey, Mr. Customer, I want you to spend money with me. That's what people think when they say pitch, right? That's 100% incorrect. That will not get somebody paying you money. That's not the way to pitch. Like nobody's walking along the street and has like a crazy plastic surgeon run up to them and say, let me cut up in your face for money right now. That's not going to get you your intended result. But that's what everybody is doing with their Facebook ads agency. They're like, hey, random person that I never met on the internet, how about you pay me money? And now my nose is running. But like, that's like incorrect. So what you have to do is you have to go through I call it conversations to clients. Like it's an idea we're working on that was on the board. But the basic structure is if you meet people in person, like real life human beings, and have conversations with them, they are more apt to pay you more money over time at a more increasing rate because they want to do business with a person. Like that's just how people's brains work. I'd rather talk to and deal with a real life human being than like another like phone tree that I have to do or another email. I just want to be able to call somebody. Great. So that's what you're going to do. That's number one. Number two is you're going to go to where your clients talk about their problems and be a dollar-driven solution to those problems. So like I'm never going to a client and saying, oh my God, you have to rebuild your website and then you have to do all this stuff before I even consider doing business with you. I go, no, for us to do this program, we have to fix this and I can do this in exchange for money. So now people want to spend money with me and get used to spend money with me. So number one, do business with real life human beings. Number two, go to where those human beings gather and talk about their problems. And then once you've done that, once you've had a conversation with a real life human being, you make sure you have a problem solution conversation. So what'll happen is like, I'll go to like a chamber of commerce and then I'll be talking to a random person and we, make nice, like normal human beings. And I say, so Mr. Johnson, what do you do? He says, oh, I'm a plastic surgeon. And then Mr. Johnson says, oh, Jeff, what do you do? I say, oh, I'm starting a Facebook ads agency. And then what happens is two things. One, they'll immediately change a topic. Like when people talk to me about sports, I don't know what they're talking about, so I change a topic. Or they say, oh my fucking God, I hate my Facebook ads guy. Russia, ads manager, Q4, whatever it is. They like obviously have like a problem, right? And I go, that's so funny, Mr. Johnson. I just finished reading a case study about how a plastic surgeon just like you got 30 customer opportunities in 30 days with their Facebook ads. Would you like to see it? They almost always say yes. Like 90% of the time they fucking say yes, right? So I'll go to Chamber of Commerce, meet 20, 30 people, be a normal human being, don't hide behind the screen, and I'll set up 10 strategy sessions or in-person meetings over the next 2 weeks or so. We have that conversation, and then I immediately do an onboarding session, just like plastic surgeons have consultations, roofers have an estimate. Like I go and I understand their needs, wants, fears, and goals. I do an onboarding session. Only after the onboarding session do I ask for the pitch. Like, hey, can I show you how this program works? And then if you do an onboarding session correctly, you increase the chance of somebody paying you money by like 50 to 100%, like right out of the gate. There's more and stuff like that, but that's like the basic structures. Go be normal human being, have conversations. When they say they have a problem, be their dollar-driven solution and do an onboarding session. And you'll find out pretty effing quickly that like, these like plastic surgeons or lawyers or chiropractors or massage spas, they've got like 6 or 7 or 8 other problems. Only one of them is Facebook ads. And now they're paying you too much money to do all these other things as well. And if your Facebook ad campaign bombs, which always happens for a month, they don't care because you're working on 6 or 7 other things as well. Those kind of ideas. Yeah.
I like that. And so like that actually brings me to another question that you mentioned is you mentioned that, like if you think about marketing strategy as a car, Facebook ads are like the tires and you need so much more to actually run the machine. Now, what are the other pieces that you would say like are vital to having like an effective marketing strategy?
So you want to, so like the 7 steps, right? So Facebook ads is just one part of them. You have to run customer research. Like no customer says, hey, I'm so glad my Facebook ads guy is running all these A/B tests so he knows what works and doesn't. Instead of that, they're saying, oh my God, my Facebook ads guy is wasting all this time and money and he's so dumb for doing this. That's how people think about A/B tests. So I don't do A/B tests. I do customer research. Easy enough to understand. Hey, Mr. Johnson's going to take about 2 weeks to do customer research, which is not an A/B test. I do real customer research. So now I've got 2 weeks to have a mini heart attack or figure it out or onboard somebody else or something like that. Customer research. Then I use the customer research to create a Facebook ad. Do not discount your client's shit. They will hate you for it. Stop doing that. Stop doing $21 offers. Not going to work. Stop doing $37 dentist cleanings. Not going to work. The only types of customers that will keep are the customers that drop you at 30 days later. So instead of making your customer take a hit for hiring you and then take a hit for bringing in shitty leads, which is what you guys are doing when you do $21 or $37 offers, instead of that, create an actual Facebook-friendly offer. Easy enough. Ask your client or your customer or go in and buy their stuff and write down the 6 things that they get when they spend X dollars. I have seen Facebook ads not have a $21 or $37 offer, but a $1,850 offer, and people are buying 2 or 3 times a day from a dentist because that $1,800 is obvious and explicit Most businesses have a McDonald's problem. They're so used to saying number two, and that they assume the world knows what their number two is, except McDonald's spent $1 billion making sure you know what the number two is and your client hasn't. So instead of letting your offer say you get the deluxe, talk about what the deluxe is and make sure that matches the customer research. Now you've got an offer that's attention getting, click worthy, act now offer, worth breaking a habit over that doesn't discount. Now you've kept your client for at least 2-3 months. From there, standard 2-step form landing page, thank you page. My landing pages are ugly as shit. My thank you pages have a thank you offer saying, hey, thanks for signing up. Click call schedule now. Don't make up a thank you offer. Make sure it ties to the customer research. Easy enough, makes a lot of sense. From there, you're going to have a whole chain of notifications, like Lead Owl, or whether it's like Active Campaign, whatever you want to call it. I don't care. Make sure you're notifying everybody that makes a decision. What everybody watching this ends up forgetting is that the person paying you money has other people, like their wife or their business partner, or they're talking to their receptionist or whatever it is. So make sure everybody that could possibly be making a decision about hiring you again knows that you're doing their job. I have some texting chains with 25 people on them because every single person will be making a decision about paying me 30 days from now. Easy, right? Now it's not one person arguing with 30 other people. It's all 30 people going, oh yeah, I keep getting texts from this Jeff guy. I guess he's doing his job. I'm going to pay him money and drop the other Facebook ads guy. From there, you 100% need to be doing a storytelling session with your client. You need to be doing a soap opera, just like Russell Brunson does. Do a soap opera for your clients, and magically, like, your $20, $30 lead Facebook ads will turn into $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 clients month after month. You'll keep your clients forever. But nobody's talking about that. Everybody says like $21 offer and then just churn and burn. When I'm saying, no, do these like 7 steps. And now I've got a car that's paying me like $15,000 a month. Now we're talking about equity and percentage of sales. I got a massage spa that paid $2,100 upfront. I had a radio company paid me $4,000. I had a tutoring clinic, a child psychologist. I've got a bike shop that's paying me $5,000 a month. At one point, he's paying me $13,000 a month. Like, that's insane, right? Like, what the shit? Like $13,000 a month. But that's because all the 7 steps, because I'm building a car that works, not just putting more gas in a car that doesn't. So I just kind of ranted for a bit. But yeah, so there's 7 steps.
No, that makes sense, man. Absolutely. And the curiosity that, that sparks for me is, I love, the approach that you're taking. We take a very similar approach into like not only creating customer opportunities, but ensuring that customer opportunities turn into actual customers. Yeah. I think like that's a lot. I think that a lot of agencies like discount. They're like, oh, I got you the lead now. Like, you figure it out. Yeah. And that's why they don't retain their clients very long. So I'm with you right there 100%. Now, Jeff, how are you able to do this across all these niches, right? How are you able to replicate like this process over and over again?
So it's all based upon customer research, all of it. So like when my bike shop came on board, I don't have bike ads. I don't know if bike ads are working or not. So I ran customer research, and I'll run like real life customer research. Look up Ryan Levask and the Ask method, but I just integrate that with Facebook ads. As it turns out, if you ask somebody the correct 5 questions, you get 95% of the way of unlocking their wallet. Needs, wants, fears, and goals, what they hate or what they tried. Run a real life survey around your clients' locations, and you will magically find out a couple things. The first is if people want to buy what your client has to sell, which is a question your client is asking. So if you can get a non-positive event from your customer research, then you'd be like, Mr. Johnson, we asked 10,000 human beings. They want to buy your liposuction. Nobody wants to buy your liposuction. So we need to find a different offer. So now, instead of wasting time, effort, energy on shitty Facebook ads for liposuction, now I'm not doing A/B testing. Now I'm doing like strategic CMOO style work, which is we're not launching this product because there's no customer research to support it. But let's say you do customer research and you run the survey, and you ask certain questions, and you get between 15 and 30 responses. Now you have statistically significant event that your Facebook ads will work. And because they've answered the questions, you have all the ad copy that you need. You have reasons why somebody has bought or doesn't want to buy again. You have a reason why somebody's afraid of buying from you, the reason why they say they won't. Turns out the reason why people don't want to go to my massage spa is because parking sucks. Guess what? We're just paying for parking from now on. That's it. We're going to spend $2 and get customers coming and spending $200. Easy as shit. I didn't know that. The customer didn't know that. but the people who could buy my customer stuff did, and they answered the customer research. Easy enough, right? But that's CMO style work. And through that customer research process, you can pretty much unlock every local business niche as long as they've run ads before. The big mistake that people make is they try to squeeze blood from a stone and they go, hey, Mr. Johnson, you've never spent money on ads before. You've never had to deal with somebody asking you questions before. All your business is coming from referrals. How about you spend $3,000 a month with me? And I'm going, no. Like, that's not how we're going to do it. Like, I need to know if your offer is market competitive. I need to know if you've had some success with advertising before. If you have, then we can do business. If not, then I can't help you. And what happens is when you take that approach, when you say no just as often as you say yes, you become a real honest and authentic marketer immediately. Like, immediately. You will get a great fucking reputation when you say, Mr. Johnson, I'm looking at these numbers and I don't think I can create a program that meets or beats them. They go, holy shit, that was great. A guy that was honest with me, doesn't want to steal my money. And then you plug a referral program and people send business to you time and time again. But the basic structure is mastering the customer research process. And just buy Ryan Levesque's book. It's called Ask, Ryan Levesque, something like that. And he'll tell you everything that you need to know.
Awesome, man. I love the approach that you're doing with customer research. We do something along those lines, but what we do is like we scrape the whole entire industry's reviews. So we find out like why do customers want to go and our niche is flotation therapy, so we only work with flow therapy spas.
Yep.
And that's how we do the customer research. But yeah, I love the method that you're using. Now, Jeff, if somebody's just getting started, somebody that just set up his agency and doesn't know what to do, what type of advice would you give a person like that?
Yeah, don't do cold emailing. Don't do cold calling. It'll burn your soul. You'll never want to do it. You have to go and interact with real life human beings. Like, those are your first next best customers, the people that can buy from you, send buyers to you, people that want to spend money with you, that will actively help you grow. Go to in-person events, go to where your future clients get together and complain about their problems. I go to Chamber of Commerce's, BNI, Rotary clubs. I go to at least 3 a week, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Sit and chat with real life human beings about their problems. Just do it. And you'll be fucking mind blown about how much money there's willing to spend with you. Never walk in saying you're Facebook ads expert. I know people that do it that are a lot worse than me, and I'm fine when they do it because I come in and say, I'm just starting a Facebook ad agency. And what happens when we say you're starting out, everybody helps you. I've been starting my Facebook ad agency for 3 years. I know people that are doing $500,000 saying they're just starting their Facebook ad agency. And then I see people take any course and say they're a Facebook ads expert. I see on their Facebook profile, and I laugh at myself because I still don't say Facebook ads expert at all. At all. I say, hey guys, I'm starting my Facebook ad agency, or you get 30 customer opportunities guaranteed. It's one of the two. And that's like my whole approach. Shit, even Russell Brunson doesn't say he's an expert. But he does have expert secrets, so that's another conversation. So if you're just starting out, if you're trying to figure out your next best step and find the first batch of clients and customers, I'll give you a shot. Number one, go to your real life human being places where people get together and talk about real life problems. I'm not kidding. There are literally events just like the one I'm talking about, the ones that I go to in your city. Like, just Google Chambers of Commerce. Just look up Chambers of Commerce and pay the $17. And what will happen is you will immediately be talking to people who have problems and are in a position to spend money if somebody can solve them. You're going to skip the line of that 90 days of cold emailing, hoping you get in touch with a decision maker. And instead, in 1 hour, you're going to meet 30 decision makers right there that are going to say, I can help you grow your Facebook ads agency. I've been there. I know what it's like. Let's figure this out together. And they're willing to spend money with you. I think it's a big mistake to start doing cold emailing and cold calling. And instead, you 100% unequivocally, beyond a shout it out, should go meet your future customers in person. No matter which city you're in, I don't care if you live in a place with 1,000 people a city or 1,000 people a city block. Go to where your future clients get together, and you'll be mind blown about how often and consistently they're willing to spend money with you to pay you to start solving their problems. And so that's how I built my whole agency and how I got car washes, bike shops. I mean, like, look at all these case studies, right? So, and they're all from meeting people in person. Those kind of ideas.
That's awesome. Well, Jeff, I love the insight that you shared with us. A lot of like ideas that I've heard before, but I haven't heard them like articulated the way that you put them out. So that was great. Before we wrap this up, do you have any other piece of advice or anything you would like to mention to our community, agency owners?
I think what you should be doing as like as a thought process is instead of saying, "Hey, I want to sell Facebook ads," and run around town saying, "I want to sell Facebook ads," and like saying, "Let me go ahead and squeeze your neck until you buy Facebook ads for me." If you do that, your price will drop and nobody will buy what you have to sell. It's going to be absolutely horrible. Instead, you should be actively looking to solve problems. Stop hustling, stop grinding, solve people's problems. And what happens is you avoid the value. I guess it's called like the value seesaw, right? Like, hey, Mr. Johnson, my program is valued at like $1,400, but because I just met you 2.5 days ago, I'm going to give it to you for $997. Like, that doesn't work, right? Like, the value is not a conversation that allows people to buy. You're saying it's up here and their argument's down here. It's this weird seesaw. You go back and forth the whole time. Instead, say, Mr. Johnson, let's start solving some problems in your business. But before we do that, let's figure out how much these problems are costing you. And then they will tell you how much their problems are costing them. And you will only work on the most expensive problems that they have. And you're going to be in a really cool position to say, Mr. Johnson, we're going to work on a $45,000 a month problem. If we solve this problem, you're in a position to make over $600,000 next year. But the problem here in solving this problem is I got to charge you for it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make a plan, find some suppliers. We're going to figure this whole thing together, and I'm going to send you a quote. Is that okay? They're going to say, sure thing. And then guess what? Solving their $600,000 a year problem costs them only $2,000 a month. They're going, this is fucking great. And then if it bombs, you can say, yeah, it's going to take some time to solve this problem, and we're going to keep moving forward. Now, by the way, you're not arguing about like whether your program is worth $1,400 and magically discounting because you love them for $997. Instead, you're in a position to charge more over time. But that's very CMOO style work and not Facebook ads guy style work. And if you want to like take just one thing from the interview, it's the last like 3 sentences that I said, which is start focusing on solving problems and quantifying them and going back and saying, all right, can I quote you? And then they will say yes, and then they'll pay you an invoice, and then magically you have a $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 a month Facebook ad agency. Really fucking fast too.
That's awesome, man. I love that insight. Yeah, focus on solving problems. Don't focus on just like being busy for the sake of being busy. That was some fire advice. Well, Jeff, thank you for sharing your time with us, man. It's been a pleasure. And if maybe in the future, like just to check in, I'll hit you up in a few months. We can see like where you're at. But so far, man, this was a great interview, man. I'm sure our community is gonna appreciate it.
You got it. Talk to you later, buddy.
Talk to you later, brother. All right. That was pretty good, man.